Hi, I'm Mike, founder of GoodBed.com. Today we're going to be reviewing the GhostBed Luxe mattress, which they market as the coolest bed in the world. So we're excited to show it to you. Stick around. One of the first things people want to know about a mattress is just how soft it is. And in the case of the GhostBed Luxe, we would characterize this as a medium soft on our spectrum. Now, I want to just get into a little bit more detail there because this is a little bit of a harder one for us to classify. In part due to the disparity in softness levels of some of the top half of the mattress layers. So you have on the top some really soft layers, and underneath that you have some much firmer layers. And overall, we think that that results in a feeling of about a medium soft, but depending on how deep you go into this mattress, it might feel a little bit more like a medium to you. Certainly the top of the mattress has some softness to it that we couldn't ignore in our classification. So that's how we ultimately landed on medium soft. So now let's get into the details of what's actually in a GhostBed Luxe mattress. And the construction here is a little bit more complex than some of the other mattresses we've reviewed. The company actually thinks of it as having 7 total layers, not all of which have actual thickness to them, but we're going to go through all of them nonetheless because they all play a part in the overall experience you're going to have on the mattress. And keep in mind as we go through this that the company's primary objective in creating and designing this mattress was to create the coolest bed in the world. So a lot of the features and materials that you're going to hear about are part of playing into that objective. So and that really does start with the very top of the mattress, this cover here, which has phase change material actually woven into the fabric. And phase change material is a material that actually does have palpable cooling properties, a coolness to the touch, which I can attest to. Like you won't miss it touching this fabric, right? The very first time you touch it, you'll notice a coolness to the touch. In fact, I would say my overall experience on this mattress is it sort of feels like you just pulled it in from the garage in winter. It just kind of has an overall coolness to it that belies the fact that it's actually been sitting in a room temperature bedroom for days. But that's not only due to this cover fabric, there's some other features that we'll get into as well that help support that. So below this cover, which I should just also add, has a real smoothness to it. It's almost slippery to the touch, which is kind of neither here nor there, but just for purposes of being descriptive here. And then, but right below that, what you have is a ½ inch of basically like a polyester fiber of some kind that they say is to create added airflow right below that cover, which seems plausible. And then below that you have 1 inch, it's actually 2 ½ inch layers kind of folded together of memory foam in a 4-pound density that are actually just quilted right into this cover. So those 3 layers together constitute this whole quilt package, basically, the whole cover. And so you can see that it's a total of 1.5 inches, but 1 inch of it is that memory foam. So overall, when you squeeze it, it's got that slow responsiveness that you'd attribute to the memory foam. Now, below that, you have these foam layers, but on top of them, you have this very noticeable dark blue layer, which they call Ghost Ice. Now, basically what this is a really thick, robust layer of phase change material. And again, this is like where there's a coolness to the touch. I mean, what I can tell you about this layer is I can sit on that layer directly and I can actually feel the coolness through my jeans. So it is a definitely tangible coolness that you get with this material. Other than the coolness, it doesn't really have a lot of other properties. It's very thin. I mean, I don't know what, 1/16 of an inch or something. And it's just basically adhered to that top layer of foam. And so it really otherwise doesn't have much in the way of a feel to it per se. But now below that, what you have is a 2-inch layer of 4-pound density gel memory foam. And the thing I'd point out about this gel memory foam is that it's got a real slow responsiveness. And that combined with the memory foam in that quilt is what gives the mattress overall, I think, a very slow amount of responsiveness. So that's kind of what memory foam is known for. But this, as memory foam goes, is particularly slow. And the other thing I would point out is that it's pretty soft, this layer of memory foam here. Similar to the memory foam in the quilt, which is actually probably even a little bit softer, but this is still quite soft. Now that contrasts with the next layer, which they call bounce foam, which is a 4-pound density foam that I would most closely compare to like a latex. It has that latexy type of bounce to it. It's no delayed responsiveness, nothing along those lines. It definitely has a real springy feel to it. And I think it's important to point out that it's significantly firmer than this memory foam layer. And so you'll actually, this will play a little bit of a role in terms of its conforming ability, but it will also, because of its firmness and where it fits in the mattress, it'll definitely play a part in the support you're getting from the mattress. And in terms of the bounce overall, we'll talk later in the video about how kind of the mattress overall, what the experience is vis-a-vis slow responsiveness versus quick responsiveness. But overall, I would say like the memory foam up near the surface kind of trumps this bounce layer. You don't feel a lot of bounce overall on this mattress. So anyways, below this layer, this bouncy layer, you have the 7.5 inch support foam, which is definitely where the long-term support in the mattress is going to come from. This is a 2.2 pound density polyurethane foam. So altogether, 13 inches of total mattress in the GhostBed Luxe. So now we're going to get into the two things that everybody has to get from their mattress, which are back support and pressure relief. And I'll start out on my back, the position I predominantly sleep in. And for context, I'm about 6 feet tall, not quite 200 pounds. And what I can tell you is, overall, I'm very well supported. Someone of my size and weight in this position. I definitely feel like I'm getting enough lumbar support. I do feel like my hips are going noticeably into the mattress, but not too far. So we'll talk a little bit more about the cushioning depth on this mattress, but overall, I'm feeling like I'm getting good back support in this position. And in terms of most other back sleepers, I don't necessarily see actually a whole lot of back sleepers who are likely to have support problems on this mattress, no matter your weight. Let's flip over to the stomach. This is an interesting one here because generally speaking, a mattress that has 3 inches of memory foam, I would generally lean against recommending for a stomach sleeper. What I can tell you though is that I did not have any overarching experience on this mattress on my stomach. I kind of expected that I would, but I didn't. I do think that it's possible someone heavier than me though could still experience that. It does have a lot of memory foam and it's pretty soft memory foam up at the top. So I'd still have some hesitation with folks who are stomach sleepers and heavier than me on this mattress just because of that risk of overarching. But I would think that based on my experience that folks lighter than me who are stomach sleepers would probably be okay. Let's flip over to my side. And here we get into both the back support as well as the pressure relief. Now here, generally, this is an area where memory foam mattresses do tend to excel. And certainly this mattress, those top memory foam layers are providing excellent pressure relief. So I had no issues with pressure relief. And I think generally speaking, people who are lighter than me, I would expect the same result for you. If you are a side sleeper though, and you're significantly heavier than me, I do have a concern that these 3 inches or 3.5 inches of top layers, you could go through those and end up on some of that firmer stuff down below. In which case you might feel, particularly if your pressure relief needs are a little bit more acute, that you're not getting adequate pressure relief. I do think like you can go through these softer layers. But again, I didn't have that experience, and so my expectation would be, unless you're significantly curvier than me, if you're someone who's my size or lighter, you're probably all good from a pressure relief standpoint. Likewise, from a back support standpoint, you can see I've got some good spinal alignment here. This is my shoulder is able to kind of get into the mattress a little bit here, which is for me important to maintaining spinal alignment in this position. So overall, I think there's a lot of, this mattress is able to conform nicely to different people's curves. It's got enough of that memory foam up at the top that it can accommodate whatever your curves may be. So I would expect that from a back support standpoint, side sleepers should do pretty well on this mattress as well. So now we're going to get into some of the characteristics that we think of as more preference-based, meaning things that can be one way or another, neither of which is better or worse. It's just a matter of what your personal preferences are. And the first of these we call responsiveness, which is to what extent does it have that sort of slow memory feel versus that quick responding bounce. The first thing we're going to do is just test for memory feel. And what you can see here is that for sure this mattress has a lot of that slow responding memory dynamic to it. You can see it even more if I go all in here with my knee and then pull that off. It takes a while to recover. So it's not only a memory feel, but it's actually a pretty slow responding memory feel overall. Now we're going to test for bounce, and we usually look at bounce at sort of different levels of the mattress. We start on top. Most of this up on top here is memory foam, so you're really not getting a lot of bounce here. Basically, like my fingers, you probably can't tell, but they're hitting the mattress and just kind of getting more of like that shock absorbing sensation rather than a bounce sensation. In terms of like the medium level of bounce, we test that with this 16-pound bowling ball, and you can see again, like it's pretty dead. Not a lot of bounce there. And then lastly, we test the deep bounce by putting my whole 200 pounds down, and you can see again, not a lot of bounce there. So overall, it's pretty clear. This is not a mattress that has a lot of bounce. We put it way over towards the slow responding end of the spectrum. Another preference-based criteria is cushioning depth, because some people prefer to sleep more in their mattress or be hugged or cradled by it, and other people prefer this feeling of sleeping more on their mattress or kind of floating on top of it. And in the case of the GhostBed Luxe, we would describe this as having slightly deeper than average cushioning. It's definitely not as deep as some super contouring memory foam mattresses where you really sink down into it, but relative to the average mattress, a little bit more of that feeling of being hugged or cradled. And you can see it a little bit too with this bowling ball, which we like to just show as a comparison. You know, obviously things of different weights and different shapes are going to sink in different amounts, but that's why we characterize it overall for you, and in this case we call it slightly deeper than average cushioning. Now we're going to get into some of the characteristics that we consider more priority-based, meaning things that can be better or worse, but that may or may not be a priority for you personally. And the first of these is motion isolation, which you may know means to what extent is this side of the bed going to feel what's happening over on this side of the bed. And we're going to test that with this 16-pound bowling ball again, which I'll drop down here, and you'll see, wow, that bowling pin just barely moves. So, okay, looking good so far. Now I'm going to throw my whole 200 pounds down on the mattress. Even now, even with that, the bowling pin not only does not tip over, but it really does not move very much. So we would certainly say the memory foam in this mattress is doing its shock absorption thing, and the motion isolation as a result is excellent. One quick factor that's important to some people, particularly on a mattress that involves memory foam, is the ease of repositioning. So no one likes to be stuck in a hole while they're sleeping. And what we can say is that you're definitely going to get a little bit more difficulty in repositioning on this mattress than, say, a mattress that has no memory foam at all. But overall, we don't think it's likely to be a huge issue for you. The one slightly unique thing about this mattress is that the cover material is very slippery. Now, when I'm testing it here without any sheets on it, it actually, you're sliding around a little bit, which can make the repositioning just a hair more difficult, but we didn't notice that same dynamic when there were sheets on it. So overall, what we'd say is, unless repositioning is a big problem for you in general, we don't think it's going to be a problem for you on this mattress. One important factor for some people is edge support, so we always cover this in our reviews. And as you can see here, I'm sitting on the edge of the GhostBed Luxe mattress, and this is a pretty typical amount of dip that we see for an all-foam mattress. Edge support doesn't tend to be a strength for all-foam mattresses, and I'd say this is not really an exception, although it's probably better than some mattresses that we've tested in this regard. But nonetheless, a substantial amount of dip here as I sit on the edge. I'll show it to you now with me laying on the edge to give you a sense with my weight more distributed on the edge. And again, I would say I definitely feel, particularly this is a common thing with memory foam mattresses, even just as I get positioned here and the memory foam starts to take effect, I do start to feel my body starting to lean a little bit. So overall, you can see the edge is not completely unstable, but edge support's probably not one of the biggest strengths of this mattress.
Another important consideration for some people is temperature, or a concern about sleeping hot. And that's particularly true on mattresses that have a lot of memory foam like this one does. Now, those of you who've watched other videos of ours know that when we look at this particular characteristic, we oftentimes talk about airflow, and we look for mattresses that have a lot of airflow because that's one of the best ways to allow heat to travel easily away from your body and cool air to get in close to your body and making sure no heat gets trapped. In this case, this is not a mattress that has a lot of airflow kind of built into the mattress. It's an all foam construction, and there's not a lot of ways for the air to easily travel through the mattress. That being said, they have built several key features into this mattress to combat overheating and to not only just keep you from getting hot, but actually to keep you cool. And I have to say they're quite effective. We talked about how the top cover has phase change material woven into the fabric. That definitely gives it a palpable coolness to the touch. We also talked about that Ghost Ice layer, which is a really thick layer of phase change material that again has a palpable coolness to the touch, so much so that I can feel it through my pants. And we also talked about how overall, my experience on this mattress is that you come into a room where it's been sitting at room temperature 70 degrees and it feels like you just pulled it in from your garage in the wintertime. So it definitely has a coolness to the touch. Now, bear in mind, it's not as though you're sitting on this thing shivering. Once you kind of lay down on it, it starts to kind of just feel neutral, is kind of how I would describe it. It doesn't stay cold, but it also doesn't warm up. So in the course of sleeping on this, we haven't experienced any issues with overheating. And so overall, what I would say is if you're someone who likes memory foam, but is particularly concerned about overheating or sleeping hot, this could be a really good option for you. Another important factor for some mattress shoppers is natural materials, or maybe just more so the lack of harmful chemicals. In the case of the GhostBed Luxe, this is not a mattress that's made with any natural materials per se. However, there is something that you can take some reassurance from, which is that all of the foams used in this mattress are certified to the CertiPure standard, which basically is a standard that looks for the presence of, as well as the off-gassing of various harmful materials, and certifies that neither are present beyond some minimally acceptable threshold. With regards to our experience on this mattress, we did note that when we first unboxed it, even just when I was kind of sitting up this distance from the mattress, I was able to pick up on some kind of new mattress smell, pretty normal amount of it. What I would say is now at this point that we've reviewed the mattress and everything, I no longer can pick up on any of that, even from this distance. I can still, if I get up really close to the mattress, I can still get it that way. But clearly it is dissipating. It has dissipated quite a bit already, and I believe will continue to do so. So I don't expect that's going to be something that is a long-term concern for anyone. So overall, those are a couple things that can give you some reassurances on this front.
One thing we get asked about more and more these days is adjustable base compatibility. So we wanted to make sure to show you the GhostBed Luxe on an adjustable base in a fully elevated position. When we think about adjustable base compatibility, we always think about, number one, is it going to damage the mattress anyway to use it on an adjustable base? And in this case, the answer is definitely no. This mattress is fully made to bend in this exact way, so no worries on that front. The second thing we think about is how well does the mattress conform to the curves of the base? And in this case, we'd say it does a pretty good job. The one area you're obviously going to notice is that the foot of the mattress doesn't actually fully conform to the foot of the base in this when the foot is fully elevated here. That's a totally common thing. It actually happens with most of the mattresses that we test, particularly because most of the mattresses we test are new when we test them. So this is a common phenomenon of a new mattress, and it does improve and break in over time. But we certainly want you to be aware of it because it's likely to happen to you the first number of times that you put your mattress on an adjustable base. The third thing we think about is, does anything weird happen when you bend the mattress in this way? Sometimes mattresses have some bowing out of the sides. I'm not seeing that as an issue in the case of this mattress. The only thing that we do see that's a little bit weird is this cover, because it has memory foam quilted into it, has a little bit more thickness. And you'll see that if you're not sitting on the mattress, when the mattress gets bent, it kind of clumps up a little bit here. When you are sitting on the mattress, when it elevates, it doesn't happen. So underneath me, no issues, because I was sitting here when we elevated it, and I certainly don't feel anything uncomfortable. In fact, that's true even if I go sit over here, it's not uncomfortable. It's just kind of a little bit clumpy, so something to be aware of. The one thing we want to just also test is what happens when you get off the mattress. And you can see here, the mattress continues to stay conformed. So that's a good sign in terms of its just overall conformability. Some mattresses are really inclined to just want to pop right up. And so they take a little bit more time to break in on that front. So overall, what we would say is this mattress is certainly quite adjustable base compatible. So as sort of a prequel to our review of the GhostBed Luxe mattress, we're just going to give you an idea of what to expect when this mattress arrives. Both in terms of the unboxing, which you'll see us do, as well as any kind of initial off-gassing smells you may experience, which we'll talk about. So one thing we wanted to note that's maybe a little bit different about this box is that it's shrink wrapped. So I guess protected from moisture. Could be good if you live somewhere wet and you don't have a cover on your porch. So here we go. Let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. Okay, so there we have it, the GhostBed Luxe mattress fully unboxed. It'll take a little while to kind of rise to its full shape, but you'll certainly will have already seen that in our review thus far. In the meantime, I could just start enjoying my GhostBed t-shirt here that comes with the mattress. In terms of first impressions, let's see. Well, one thing I can point out right away is that there's definitely a coolness to the touch here, probably coming from phase change material in this top layer. But yeah, it's a very super smooth cover actually, almost slippery. And it definitely has a coolness to the touch. In terms of off-gassing, I would say like I'm getting a little bit of sort of that new mattress smell even from like this distance. It's not something overwhelming. To me, at least, I'm not that said, I'm not very sensitive to these types of things. But yeah, I would say like even from this distance, I'm getting a little bit of that new mattress smell, and certainly if I get up close to it, I can get even more. So we'll certainly be following up in our full review to make sure if there is any kind of residual smell that we think you should be aware of, we'll let you know when we do the full review. A few things that are going to be important, particularly when you're buying a mattress online like this one, are delivery, return policy, and warranty. In terms of delivery, the GhostBed is delivered compressed in a box to your doorstep via FedEx. You've already seen the unboxing, so the only thing you haven't seen is the process of getting it from your doorstep to your bedroom, which we generally recommend is a two-person job. In terms of the return policy, GhostBed offers a very generous return policy, typical of many of its online peers, which is 101 nights. You can sleep on this mattress, and for any reason during that time period, if you don't like it, you can return it for a full refund. And in fact, GhostBed, being one of the more established online mattress companies, will even be able to come pick it up from you in the event that you do decide to return it. In terms of the warranty, GhostBed on the Luxe mattress offers a 25-year mattress warranty. It's 10 years full warranty, and then the last 15 years is prorated. And on that warranty, they define a body impression as anything greater than an inch when you're not sitting on it. So overall, a pretty good warranty as well. So those are some things that should give you some comfort in giving this mattress a try. One thing that's important to just about every mattress shopper is value. And when we think about value, we always think about how much does it cost, what's in it, and how long do we think it's going to last. In terms of the cost, the current price of the GhostBed Luxe mattress is $1,475 in a queen size. And that would be before any GoodBed discounts are applied. In terms of what you're getting for that, you're getting a 13-inch memory foam mattress with, depending on how you count it, 7 total layers. 4 layers of foam. You're talking about 2 layers of memory foam, one of which is gel memory foam, each of which are a 4-pound density. Then you've got the layer of GhostBed bounce foam that's also a 4-pound density, and below that you have a 7.5-inch support foam layer that has a 2.2-pound density. In terms of the how long it's going to last, we generally turn to those densities, those foam densities, as our best, albeit imperfect, predictor of longevity. And in terms of how those densities stack up, 4-pound memory is a solid density. It's not the highest, but it's certainly above the area, the density levels that give me real concerns from a longevity standpoint. And 2.2-pound density, as a support foam goes, is very high. That's a very high quality, very durable foam to be using as the support layer. So overall, what we'd say is I think the longevity prospects of this mattress look pretty good. And so in terms of how this stacks up in terms of overall value, I certainly think that if you were to compare this to other mattresses that you'd find in a local store with these features, I do think it stacks up well from a price standpoint. If you compare it to other mattresses that you can find online, I do think that there are some mattresses that just on a very high level in terms of amount of memory foam, and just this general type of construction, I think you could find options that are a little cheaper. But what I would say is, I guess, they don't necessarily have the cooling features. It's certainly not the extent of the cooling features of this mattress, and also the effectiveness of the cooling features. So I guess I'd sum all that up by saying that if you're someone for whom cooling features are not that important, then I do think there are probably some options out there that are a little bit better value for you. However, if you're someone who likes a memory foam feel and temperature and sleeping hot is a real concern for you, then I definitely think this is a good value. So just to summarize some of the things we've covered in this video, the GhostBed Luxe mattress is a 13-inch mattress with memory foam over foam construction. We talked about how if you're someone who doesn't like that memory foam feel or wants a mattress with a lot of bounce, this is probably not a good choice for you. Likewise, if you're someone for whom edge support is super important, this may not be the ideal mattress for you.
We also talked about how heavier folks, if you are a side sleeper, and particularly if you have especially acute pressure relief needs, this may not be a good match for you. Likewise, heavier folks who are stomach sleepers, this might not be the ideal choice. But if you're looking for a mattress that has a lot of that slowly melting into the bed memory feel, and a mattress that has a little deeper than average cushioning for a little bit more of that hugged or cradled sensation, one that has excellent motion isolation, and one that has some really uniquely effective cooling properties, particularly for a memory foam mattress. And if all of the other criteria and considerations that we described in this video sound like a good match for you, then we definitely think that the GhostBed Luxe is one that you should consider. So we hope you found this video helpful in determining whether the GhostBed Luxe is the right mattress for you. If you're still not sure though, we'd really recommend you go to GoodBed.com and take our mattress match quiz, which you can find right up in the header of any page of our website. This quiz will walk you through all of the same criteria and considerations that we covered in our assessment of the GhostBed Luxe, and ultimately will show you mattresses both online as well as in the local stores in your area that best match your personal needs and preferences. In fact, after you've taken the quiz, you can even navigate to any of the product pages on GoodBed.com, including for the GhostBed Luxe, and see your personal match score for that product. So we really think that this is a helpful resource that you ought to take advantage of. In the meantime though, we thank you for watching and we really hope you sleep well.